a Bluebeam review and showing some tips and tricks. So thank you very much for being with us today, Troy. We really appreciate it. Everyone's looking forward to learn more, and I will turn it over to you now. I am going to really quick try to mute.
That would be great. Then we won't get the feedback. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Back. I'm going to mute everybody so Troy can take over. I was introducing him and I cut myself off. When I muted myself as well. So if you guys have any questions, type them in the chat box. We'll open it up at the end for questions. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for MSS for referring Troy to us. And Troy, thanks for doing the webinar for us. So I will turn it over to Troy now and put everybody on mute so we don't have any background noise.
Excellent. So hopefully I'm not on mute along with everybody else. I can see one group on camera. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me? There's a table full of guys. All right, I got somebody to wave. Awesome. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go through a real quick dive into Bluebeam, the tools that I like to show. It's my understanding that some of you might be using Bluebeam, some maybe not. My hope is that everybody learns something today, and we can walk away with more ideas on things to learn. What I specialize in, I travel all over the country, sitting down with individuals like yourselves, learning your workflows. Everybody has yellow highlighters that mean a certain thing and red pens. What I do is learn your workflows and digitize them. I don't intend to ever change your workflows, but more just create them in a digital workflow so that you can be more efficient and cleaner, get those huge plan sets off your desks. So we're going to jump through some real highlight reel functionality today. I'll put this slide up again at the end. I just wanted to give you all my contact information, LinkedIn, email, phone, our company blog, my Twitter, my YouTube. You'll see some good videos out there. I try to be different out of the box stuff. So definitely check that out, subscribe so that you get notified when there's new ones. And then Bluebeam Burgers is my personal blog. My two favorite things. You can watch me on Twitter with my crazy burgers as I travel. All right, so I'm going to dive in right and open up another document. Close this one here. So the first thing I want to show you guys is right down here when you open the document in Bluebeam, it's going to tell you what size drawing it is. So it's a 42 by 30. And it's going to put you in scrolling pan mode indicated right down here. That means I can scroll in with my center down with my mouse button. I know.
Hey guys, I'm jumping in. Troy, you're a little.
I'm a little what?
It's real hard to hear you.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you. You're a little fuzzy.
Okay.
I don't know if you're using a headset or something.
I am. Let me try to talk to the speakers. Is that better?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Anyone? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, you there, Troy? Hello?
I'm going to try calling in, I think, see if that works better. Sorry, guys.
It's good now, Troy. Can you hear me?
Bear with me here. All right, how are we doing now? Is that better?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Is that better?
It is for me. She's got everybody muted, so you're talking. Nobody can answer you, but I just unclicked mine, so that's a lot
All right.
better.
Okay, good. I'll assume everybody else can hear me and jump in here. So I'm not sure what you guys heard out of all that, but I'll start over here. Down at the bottom here, when I open up a drawing, it's going to tell me what size document it is. So this is a 42 by 30 inch document. It puts me in scrolling and pan mode, which means I can scroll in with my center wheel and pan around with my left mouse button. If I opened up a small format like an 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17, it's going to put us in what they call scrolling mode here. And your center wheel is then going to scroll up and down on that document, not in and out. So you can switch that at any time if it's in the wrong one, but Bluebeam does a pretty good job of picking the correct one there. The next thing I want to show here, a little tip. So over here in your file access, these are all the drawings that you had open recently, or documents, I should say, PDFs. I pinned several that I used for my demos. If you right-click on any of these, you can go right to the folder, so open folder, and go directly to that folder where that drawing lives. So I don't have to go through and navigate to try to get to this folder. I can jump right there. So I'm going to open up Revision C along with Revision A I already have open. So you can see I have the two tabs there. If I split my screen down here, I can split it vertically or horizontally up to 16 times. So I'm going to go ahead and put Revision A next to Revision C. And because I have the sync turned on, it syncs these drawings up. So when I scroll on this side, it'll automatically follow it on the other side. So I can go through Revision A and Revision C and try to find the differences that are in here. Okay. So I'm sure you guys never see this, but this particular architect didn't cloud their changes. I know it's rare, but once in a while it happens. So looking at these drawings, I noticed that in Revision A, we've got a curved wall over here. It's square. I can see that one. But everything else is a little difficult to see. So what I'm going to show you guys is what we call document compare. So if I go to document, I can go in here to compare documents. It'll pick the two drawings that I have open, and I'm just going to say, okay. It's going to create a third document looking at those pixel by pixel, and it puts diff on the end. So it's a brand new document. I'm going to split this again and even this out. And then you'll notice here, it clouded absolutely everything that was different. It looked at it pixel by pixel and pointed out the changes. So that wall would have been easy to find just by looking like we saw, but these light fixtures from revision A to revision C would have been difficult to see with that tile pattern. It also, jokes on the architect, we also see their spelling errors. So they didn't cloud stuff, but we found it. And then if I scroll down here, also you'll see they completely changed this room layout. So pretty cool tool there for comparing documents, see what the differences were between those very quickly. I'm going to save this document and come back to it in a second with another tip. And just go to my desktop. Close this. The other tool that we can do to compare these documents is called Overlay. So Overlay Pages. Again, I have Revision A and Revision C open. When I click on that, it's going to assign red to Revision C and green to Revision A. And this is going to be like the old light table. It's going to put them over top of one another, and everything that matches is going to stay black. So here again, created a third document, overlaying these pixel by pixel. I'm going to split my screen again. And here you can see how what Revision A looked like and what Revision C looked like over top of one another. So you can see what those changes were, where with the clouds it showed where the changes are. Okay, so the trick I want to show you guys is now that I have this overlay, I'm going to come down to my markups list, and in here, I can go to markups and import. And I'm going to navigate to that drawing on my desktop that I saved with the clouds, and I'm actually going to import all of those clouds onto my drawing. So now I can see where all the changes are and what all the changes were. So you can save this in your archive folder along with all of those revisions when they came and document really well what's going on here. Okay, so that's document compare, document overlay. You'll also notice in here, once we did that overlay, it assigned layers. So if I go to my layers tab over on the left, you'll see I have a Rev C and a Rev A layer. I can turn those on and off to be able to clean up the drawings a little bit and look at those. So that I just wanted to show you that there's the availability of layers very similar to AutoCAD, maybe some of those design software that you're using where you can turn things on and off to clean it up. Okay. And that goes for any markups that you do. If you're doing takeoffs for anything and you want to put things on certain layers, you can do that. This tool is amazing for punch walks. I teach punch walks all the time, estimates, things like that. Day in, day out, I build tools for companies doing that. So I'm going to jump back to Revision A and jump into some of the measurement tools. So here I'm going to click on my measurement tab. And the first thing I want to do before I do any measurements at all is go to calibrate the drawing. I need to tell Bluebeam what size this drawing is. Okay, so pick 2 points of a known dimension. I usually zoom in on somewhere. It's going to give me a dimension here. You'll notice in Bluebeam also that I have snaps. In most of the other PDF programs, if not all the others, you have to zoom in and try to find the center of those pixels. With Bluebeam, it actually snaps to that content. So I can click there, I come over here and click, and then all I'm going to do is tell it that this is 16 feet. And I'm going to store it in the page and say OK. So now any dimensions that I put in here, I'll be able to, I want to count measurement. Once you calibrate, it kicks you into a measurement tool of its choice. So I'm going to come in here, put a 4'2" dimension in there. So I can find those dimensions of this PDF. In a BIM world, everything's drawn to scale, so you can get dimensions way better than you used to be able to. So that is your length dimension. Now that it's calibrated, all the dimensions that I do are going to be accurate, so I can come in here and do an area measurement. There's a couple different ways of doing that area. I can very quickly just click and drag if I want a rough estimate of this area, and it's going to give me that 472 square feet. If I want to get a little bit more precise, I can come here and click on these corners and maybe figure out what the carpet would be in that room. 330 square feet. So a trick I'll show you here, this is typically going to land on top of the room number. Everything's fighting for the center of the drawing. If you select that markup and hold your shift key, you can actually move that label without moving the entire thing. You can move just the number there. Okay, so that's two ways of doing it. There's a third way that came out last year in 2017 called Dynamic Fill. That is my favorite tool in Bluebeam, because I work with a guy named Phil, and he's not dynamic in any way. So with that one, it opens up a new tool set here, and I'm going to start over here with add a boundary. And basically my explanation for that is to come in here and close this door. Once I have that door closed, I'm going to select my paint bucket, and I'm going to tell it to find the area. And then I just come over here and start pouring paint. Make sure I go under these doors and here. And then when I say apply, it's going to give me the square footage, and you can see it went around all of those doors, openings, this curved vanity. It did a really good job of getting the square footage there for me. And again, if I hold the shift key, I can bring this up to there. Now, any of these tools in Bluebeam, as I show you, these are going to be customizable. If I go to my properties over here, with that selected, I could come in and put in a hatch pattern, turn on the highlight so I can see through it, or a color, I'm sorry. I can also do a hatch pattern if I wanted to do that. Scale that up and down, and create certain types of flooring or whatever you want to do to customize those markups. So that is the Calibrate Dynamic Fill. We can also do, let's see, another measurement is the poly length in here. So if I'm doing a mechanical run or a mechanical takeoff, I want to do a run here, I can come in and just trace where I think that mechanical run is going to go, double click when I'm done, and now it's going to tell me the length of each segment and the total length. And then what's nice here also is if there's a 2-foot drop where it needs to go up or down on each end, I can come over here and add 4 feet. And then it's going to label that as well. 4-foot rise drop, and it's going to give me a new total in there. So there's some other tools that I've built based on that I can show you in a bit for doing mechanical takeoffs. But I'm going to keep cruising here. Another thing that we can do in Bluebeam is visual search. So if I go to my magnifying glass over here, I'm going to get a rectangle. I'm going to come over here and take a picture of this sink. Oh. Sorry. Let's try that again. Take a picture of that sink. It shows it up here. And then I'm just going to say search. I have multiple rotations turned on, so it finds it if it rotates any direction. And then I also have the sensitivity set low so that if there's a grid or anything that runs through a sink, it'll still find it. The higher I go, the more exact it needs to be. Okay, so it's searching. Down here you can see it counting up 100%, and it found 38 sinks for us. So now I can come through here and make sure that all of these are indeed sinks. I can click to double check. It'll jump me to that spot on the drawing, and I can verify all of these. So looks like all of these are sinks. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and select all of them. And then what I can do is come in here and highlight them if I want to, or I can apply a count measurement. So with this one, I'll just put a checkbox. It puts a check on all the sinks. And then if I look down at my markups list, it's recording everything that I do up here. So it's going to tell me 38 sinks. And in this spreadsheet down here, I could go in and create custom columns for cost. If I wanted to put different variations of sinks in there, different prices, I could put that in there, and then it'll give you a total and do a really good takeoff for you. So that is your search and your count tool. I could also, should have done this one first, but I will show you how this one works. I'm going to build a tool here for markups. So if I go to Edit and Snapshot, I can come in here and take a picture of this sink again. And this time I'm just going to Control-V, paste it in my drawing. And I want this to look like a markup instead of blending in with the rest of the document. So I'm going to come over to my properties and change colors from black to red. And I'm going to say OK. And now if I right click and add that to my tool chest, you'll see it over here. And I can come back to that on all of my projects going forward. I'm going to delete that out of here. I can come in and place these. Now those are just going to be markups. It's not going to count them for me. So if I actually right click on this and create a count, now I have a new tool here where I can come in and paste these in those different areas where those sinks are. And again, click on that and it shows me 3. So now let me back up to my search. I'm going to check that box. It found 38 of them. This time I'm going to go to apply my measurement, and I have that custom tool in there that I created. I'm going to click on that, and now it placed that sink on top of all of my sinks and counted them for me. Okay. You can also use that tool, the snapshot, for RFIs. If you're looking for information, I can come into Edit, Snapshot, and very quickly take a picture of this area, go up to my templates and open up an RFI form. I come in here and insert a blank page. And then I just Control-V, paste that. It comes in at the same scale that I took the picture from. And then I can come up, fill out my form, and send this off real quick. So it works really well for RFIs, building tools. In a Revit world, I've also brought these images in to capture that point in time so that I can have that revision documented. And if I'm using, as I continue modeling over the course of the project, that image won't change in that revision title block. So some different workflows there. Let's see. So everything that we've been doing so far is with markups has been recording in our tool chest under recent tools. When I close Bluebeam, this is going to clear out. So if there's any tools that I want to keep, like say this hatch pattern that we created for that room, all I need to do is click and drag that up to either my tools or any of the other tool sets that I created. And now when I click on that, I can come in here and have all those same properties, but a brand new size, you know, whatever I'm drawing there. So that functionality can mean the same thing, get everybody speaking the same language, doing the same markups. Again, this could be flooring with a price associated with it, anything like that. Let's see. Custom tool sets, or columns down here. I was talking about how we could add columns down here. These are all the columns that come with Bluebeam that you can turn on. Depending on the type of information or markups that you're putting in, it'll fill in information on these columns, or we can come down here to manage and create custom ones. So in this example, I've got a responsibility column, and in there it's a choice. I come in here, these are all the choices that I've entered. So now when I do a markup, I'll show you guys one of my favorites is the Cloud Plus. With that one, I can draw my cloud. It prompts me to place my leader, and then it gives me my text right off the bat. So that is all one markup. It's not a cloud and then a leader and then text. So that's about 16 clicks all in 3 to get that note in there. But then with the custom columns, I can come down and make sure that I assign that. If I select it up here, it'll select it down here. I can come in here, maximize this here, and assign it to somebody. So if McHam is the one that's going to be doing those markups, I can assign that to him. And then what's nice is I can filter this list to only show ones for McHam. And then I can create a PDF summary of those markups. Say OK. And it's going to add this to, if I look at my thumbnails, it attached it to that document. So I can come in here. It's showing me all the information that I'm asking in my columns down below with information filling in. And then it gives me a hyperlink here to jump me to that spot in my drawing. So the example I use here is if you've got interns and then senior technicians working on drawings, you can assign certain things to certain individuals. If you trust the intern to do text edits, you can run a report and hand them their work on Monday morning. And same with the senior technician, give them the more advanced stuff that you want them to change. Okay. So let's look at stamps. There's a lot of different stamps that come with Bluebeam. Some of these are interactive. I can come in here and stamp these. It's going to record the time and date that I stamped it. You also have the ability to create your own. So if I go to create stamps, it's going to put me in more or less a little editor, and I use all my markup tools and text and things like that to create a stamp that I can share with everybody else. So stamps are pretty cool. The next one I'll show you guys is Quantity Link. With that one, I have a concrete foundation example. It's not the best for you guys, but it'll show kind of the power of what we can do here with Quantity Link. So I'm going to pull this over here. Quantity Link is going to attach my documents, my PDF, to an Excel file. So if I'm doing takeoffs, I can come through here with my custom markups and have the information feed directly into Excel. So in this example, I'm going to come down here, go to my tool chest, and go to my concrete tools. I have a 4-inch slab in here. I'm going to come in and just trace these pours that I'm going to do. And you'll see as soon as I do these, it's going to start calculating over here and putting that square footage in there. Right, let's make sure that we calibrated before we get too crazy with dimensions. Again, I'm going to come over here to calibrate. Draw a line across here, and that's 21'4", not 120 feet. Say okay. I'll come in and draw a few more of these. Sorry. A few more slabs. Make sure I'm going to recalculate this. This is just the process for connecting these drawings. So in here, I am going to find the volume of my 4-inch slab. Say OK. And that should have updated. I just did it in the wrong order, guys, sorry. But the numbers are going to be a little off because it's not calibrated correctly, but you'll get the idea. If I come in here now, I've got 35-inch deep footings. I can come in, trace these footings, and it's going to put the cubic feet in there. And my last example is this 18-inch pier. I can go in and place those where they need to be. Again, with this tool set, anybody can jump in, take a couple people doing this takeoff. They're using the same tools. They know exactly where the last person left off, and it's all feeding into this Excel file, where now I've done the formulas to convert this to cubic yards. I'm told there's 11 yards in a truck, so I need 46 trucks, and that's going to be my cost. Again, numbers are a little bit off here because I didn't have it calibrated ahead of time, but you get the idea. Other ones that I've done for mechanical, if I've got engineering drawings that I'm going through, I can come in and create these tools for 10-inch diameter supply, 11-inch 11 by 11, and then you just come in and draw those like I showed you earlier, whatever that's going to look like. And with these, I have it labeled so it says 10-inch diameter supply and gives me the total length of that run. So if I continue to go and build out those drawings, tracing all of those 10-inch diameter, then down below it's going to give me a total for that 10-inch diameter return there, or supply. And then I just design these to be a little bit different. When I create tools like this, I usually pick different line types, thicknesses, and things like that to make it look, basically I'm replacing your highlighters. Everybody's got those yellow, orange, blue, whatever they mean. We recreate those in Bluebeam. So that's how we can do mechanical takeoffs as well, quantity link. I wanted to show you guys a quick video here, just a couple seconds, of one that I built for a lumberyard. You'll see here on the right side, all of these values are at 0. I built a tool for a 4-foot tall wall underneath that window. So we just come in, trace that wall underneath that window. It highlights it for us, and it labels it a 4-foot wood frame wall, 152 feet. And you'll notice on the right side there, with that linear footage, we can then put all the formulas in there for double top plate, studs at 16 inches on center. The foam that goes under the base plate is comes in 50-foot boxes. So we're showing 3 boxes there. Anchor bolts at 72 inches on center, added insulation, and 3/4-inch sheathing. That's giving us quantities for all of those just based on that linear footage, and then the pricing as well. So with these guys, we put their entire lumberyard in an Excel file, and we built tools for them. And now they know exactly where they are in their takeoffs. They're loading up the truck based on layer. I have these built so that only the basement layer can be turned on and printed, and now they have a drawing and load list for getting that out to the field. Much better quality. They're doing residential homes used to take 3 hours. They're now taking 40 minutes, and there's a lot less reorder when you're figuring out what boards go where with your drawings there. Okay, so that is quantity link. I'm going to jump into a combined set. And so what I'm looking at here is a drawing. There's roughly 40 sheets in here. I seem to always get these drawings with some arbitrary number in here, 3, 4. You know, I've got a bunch of number 2s and things in here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and update those. So in here I can go to auto mark, and I am going to select a page region, draw a box around this drawing number. If it grows, I want it to still fit inside this box. And then I'm just going to say OK and OK. And in a couple seconds there, it relabeled all of those. So now they're all updated according to what it saw in the corner of those drawings, making these drawings a lot easier to navigate. But I'm going to take that a step further, and I'm going to jump into the batch tools. So batch is going to be the extreme version. There's 3 different versions of Bluebeam. There is standard, which is most of the tools that I've showed you today. Quantity link is the only one that's in extreme that I've showed, and then this hyperlink I'm going to show you is an extreme as well. So I'm just going to come down here to link, new. I'm going to do my open files. I could also do a folder if these were separate drawings, but I'm going to click on there, say next. I already fixed my page labels, so I'm going to use that as my search element. Gives me a little preview, and I'm just going to say generate. So now a tip I want to show you guys here is none of these drawings are ever going to refer back to the cover sheet because there's no information there. So what I'm going to do is put something in here that's on every sheet. In this example, I'm going to put the project number. Okay, so I put that in there, and then I'm going to click on run. And in a matter of a couple seconds here, it's going to create hyperlinks for me. 164 of them to be exact. I'm going to say finish. And then you'll notice in my sheet index, I can now jump to level 1. I can go look at this stair blow up, look at this section cut, and then I've got my home button on all of these documents to jump me back to my cover sheet, where I have my sheet index and I can keep going looking at drawings. So that really makes it handy jumping around, replacing those enormous drawings on your desk. This is pretty nice. So that's AutoMark and Hyperlink. If you guys are doing a lot of signing drawings, there's a tool in the extreme version called Batch Sign and Seal. I'm going to come in here, excuse me. Find my sign and seal. I have to open a clean one here because once I sign it, it locks the document. I'm going to open that up. You'll see here I've got 7 documents that are that have the same title block, and what I want to do is quickly sign these. So I'm going to come in to batch again and my sign and seal. And I want to do all pages, so I say next. And then all I need to do is come in here, put in my password. Hopefully that's it. And that allows me to place my signature, and then I can come down, set the format, the font and all that for my stamp and my date. I want to flatten it. I don't want to allow recovery. I don't want anybody to be able to unflatten my signature. And then all I do is come over here and place these on my title block. I know a lot of states are real picky on the size of this, so what we've seen customers do is draw a real faint circle in their CAD documents so that they know how to size this. And then I just come over and drag my signature as well. and put that up on the line. And then all I need to do is say done, which is behind one of my screens here. Say okay. It was under one of my WebEx windows. And then you can see it signed and stamped all of those drawings. As I click through each sheet, it put it in the exact same spot on all those sheets. So that is your batch signed and seal. We can also work with 3D PDFs if you guys are into that at all. A lot of times, I know when I was in the industry in the structural world, it was very common that the technicians were in Revit. You don't want the engineers in Revit for some good reasons. So this would be a good replacement for that, where they can come in and look at this 3D model, pick it apart without damaging anything in a Revit environment. They can pull the ceiling off. If I select this chimney, you'll notice as I spin around, everything gets hidden so that I can keep looking at the element that I'm focused on. It also gives us down here in our 3D model tree, every single item in here is listed with all of the metadata from Revit. So all that carries through. You can click on here and do a search for different things. So there's a lot of functionality there as well. The last one I want to show you guys, and then we'll allow some time for questions here, is Studio. So Studio is going to be a collaboration tool and a sharing document tool. There's two different portions of Bluebeam Studio. There is, another password. All right. Maybe we'll just talk about this one. I'm terrible with my passwords. So there are Bluebeam projects, which are going to be like a library system. You can put any file type up there, invite as many attendees as you want, set the permissions to what they see and what they don't, what they can do, whether they download or print or whatever, you can set all those permissions. And it's free. It's a free cloud-based sharing service. So with that library system in Studio projects, you can check in, check out. Only one person can own those documents at a time. And any file type, any number of people, it's free. It really replaced, once I started using that, it replaced all FTPs, Dropbox, all those paid for services really are no longer needed. We can put everything in a Bluebeam Studio. You send an invite. If your people that you're inviting don't have Bluebeam, they'll be prompted to download a trial, and they'll have that for the length of your project. As soon as you close that project, they will basically be in a viewer mode where they can't do markups necessarily, but they can view documents. The second part of Studio is a Studio session, and that is going to be a live collaboration. So you're going to upload PDFs only. You can invite whoever you want to those sessions, and you can all mark up the drawings at the same time. And when I say markup at the same time, I mean as soon as they're done placing their markup and they click escape to finish, it shows up on your screen. There's even a button on there that you can click to watch their mouse move around so you can see what they're working on. It doesn't replace like a go-to-meeting type of scenario, but it is a real great quick tool for showing what you're looking at in that phone conversation and figuring things out. So you can do that even with an iPad. If you're on Wi-Fi out on the site, you can take pictures, attach them to markups, do all kinds of things there on your reports. One thing that I'll show you here is that Cloud Plus I'll show you that again. Draw a cloud, bring my leader over. I type my note in, and what I want to show you here is if you're out on site with your iPad, you can very quickly just right-click on this markup and go down to Capture. And then on your iPad, you'd go from Camera, or I have the photos already taken, so I'd go from File, go out to my images, and then I'm just going to go through and select all the ones I want, say Open, and it gives me this nice little icon here. I can click on that, and it's going to open a flip book for me, so I can flip through my images for that site visit. Okay, those live in the PDF. Again, once you do your site walk, you can run a report. I can show you guys an example of that as well. Got a punch walk document here. I've basically created a tool chest for the different disciplines. Structural is this red color, so all of the markups are that color. And electrical was yellow, mechanical is orange. And so what we did was I went through and did a punch walk. I placed these symbols, they all mean something specific. And then I was able to create a legend of all the markups that I had on that document. So I have one for mechanical. It's going to show me, basically, I need 4 duct returns to come out and complete that punch walk for to cross everything off and make sure that I'm finished. Same with electrical, plumbing, structural. I've got all that stuff in here. With layers, I can come down here, and now that I've done my site walk, I've recorded all the disciplines, but I want to send a report to structural. I can come in here, set that up. It'll turn off all the other layers, cleans it up good. And then what I want to do in my markups list is I want to filter. I want to turn on my layers first. So I'm going to turn on my layers. I'll show that, and then I'm going to filter to show only my structural. And now I can create a summary of that punch walk for my structural team. Run a report. It's going to put all those and add it to that document. And here you can see I can go in here. There's a bolt missing. Click on that. It's going to take me directly to where that is on my drawing. So lots of functionality there. It's almost the top of the hour, so I'm going to open it up to questions if you guys have some. I don't have the chat window as far as I know, so.
I just unmuted anybody.
Okay.
I have one that was submitted that you talk mainly about drawing markups and controls. What about project submittals, RFI logs, and controls, daily job logs, mainly all construction documents other than drawings?
All of that can be in here as PDFs, and you can create hyperlinks to anything. I guess it's hard to know what they're looking for. I'd have to maybe talk to them and get their workflows and see what they're after. A lot of that stuff is done in a PDF format, so it can be done in here and tracked.
Well, like the RFI that you did, on that one drawing, are you able to, insert that into a log that's kept in Bluebeam, or do you have to do that somewhere else to track it?
You could have a folder in the Studio project for those. It's not necessarily a log, but you could have a folder for that.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of companies will create what's called a digital dashboard, and they'll have a link so that everybody can go to the most current set of drawings. With the RFIs in particular, there's a functionality called sets, and I can have as many sheets as I need in my project, all individual documents, but I can pull them into a set, and then I can access each individual sheet, so I don't have ownership of the whole thing. If it was a combined set, I would own the whole thing, but I can build a set, and then there's a batch slip sheet where I can slip in those revisions and have it'll stamp the old one superseded, carry all the markups forward, and really do a good job of tracking those revisions.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Anybody else?
So can you explain again what you do as far as for workflows? You go into people's companies and look at their processes and
yep.
Can they come up with better ways to do things?
Yeah, so every company is different. So I'll sit down and meet with them and figure out, my goal is to replace all their highlighters and their calculators with tools in Bluebeam. I build those off to the side over here. I create a profile for your company specifically, turn off all the other tools that might be overwhelming, and then do training on your tools with your company.
Okay. I'll give you a call and talk to you about that.
Great. What was your name?
It's Bobby Grimes with AMG Piping.
Great.
I don't have any other questions right now.
Okay.
Anybody else? Nope, we're good. Everyone's
hopefully not too overwhelmed. If you guys need a free trial or anything, certainly reach out. Let me be a resource for sure.
Well,
I've also got our classes. I don't want to turn this into a commercial, but we do classes. Most of them are 2 hours, so you can build a half day, a full day. The takeoffs, there's a lot of tools. That one's a 4 hour. So, yeah, if you guys need anything at all, just reach out, let me know. I'll do what I can to help you guys out. I appreciate you guys having me out. It's a cool group that you guys have, sharing best practices among what I'm assuming are competitors somewhat, but that's super cool. Good for you guys.
Where are you out of?
I'm actually in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So I'm about 4 hours from anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm headed to Southern California tonight, so.
Well, that will be nice.
If you guys want to reach out, those are the ways to find me. Certainly connect with me on LinkedIn and those different places. You'll see my posts. I post videos whenever I can to show different workflows, and yeah, I look forward to communicating with all of you, hopefully.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody for being on. We really appreciate it. And Troy, thanks for taking time out of your day and helping us. Great, and we appreciate it. And I will be in touch with you shortly. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will hopefully see some of you soon at one of our upcoming meetings.
Sounds good, guys. Reach out anytime. I'll do this again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.